Hi, everyone, and welcome to Unite. We're doing a virtual drag show tonight to talk about solidarity and really support some causes that are important to us here at the Divine Sister Mister. If you don't know me, my name is Bridget Kiss. I do a lot of stuff with the drag scene in Provo. And tonight, I just want to make clear what our intentions are with this. We are not trying to take over the conversation. We're not trying to lead the charge in Utah. What we're trying to do tonight is educate ourselves, provide education to people in the community, and talk about causes, organizations to support, and kind of the reason for that. So just to get started with, I want to let you all know that we can interact with you. So feel free to comment, early adopters of the technology. Hi, Haley. I'm very glad that you're with us tonight. We're going to be doing some kind of more directed segments than we've done in the past shows if you've been tuning in. So trust, we're going to get to your comments. We're going to do a Q&A section. So don't feel like we're ignoring you. But we have some things that we want to attend to tonight. And I want to start out with talking about allyship. I will fully admit I am not perfect and I have a lot of work to do. I need to do, I think that there's a lot of hard work involved in becoming an ally. And specifically to the Black community, I need to tackle my own biases. I need to tackle the things that are implanted in me that I learned from the time I was young. And I need to confront the ways that I benefit from systems that hold other people down. So during this whole thing, I just want to make it very clear. I'm not trying to be a savior. I'm not trying to be a prophet or an example. I'm trying to learn with you. And we're trying to do something to help other people on this journey towards allyship. So I don't want to be on a soapbox, but one of the most important things we can do is to educate ourselves. So we're going to be learning about Black-led causes in Utah and nationally. We're going to be learning about important leaders in the queer movement and in the Black Lives Matter movement, the civil rights movement, and talking about why they're important, and also encouraging people to donate. So as you can see, ticker taping across the bottom of the screen, one of our performers in our group, Gene Banner, we're using his Venmo, just so you know whose Venmo that is. We're going to collect all donations there and then donate them to Black Lives Matter. If you want transparency on that, please feel free to send us a message and hold us accountable for that. Yes, it is really, thank you, Doug. It is really Geebe, G-E-B-E. That is spelled correctly. So we'll be talking about other causes you can donate to. I want to also make it clear, we're not trying to shame anyone if you don't have the money to donate right now. Things are difficult for a lot of people, and we fully appreciate that. Things are difficult in a lot of our lives. So please don't feel bad if you don't have money to send to these organizations, but there are other things you can do. You can learn about them. You can tell other people about them. You can post their fundraisers and try to encourage other people to donate. So just to make that clear, we're not trying to make anyone feel bad if you're not able to send money. We're going to be saying it a lot. Please remember that's not an invitation to feel bad about not having the means to help. So I want to briefly touch on something that I think is really important for everyone in the drag community and in the queer community to really understand and keep in mind. Our movement was patterned after and depended on the civil rights movement. So early on, leaders in the LGBTQ plus community looked at ways, how can we advocate and make things better for people living in the United States who are gay, who are lesbian. They didn't have the term at the time, but people who are transgender and so forth. And early leaders decided, let's follow in the footsteps of the civil rights movement. We adopted a lot of their tactics. We adopted a lot of their structures and ways that they went about advocating. And so in a very real way, our movement just latched onto it. That's not to say that we had permission, that they condoned it, but our movement came from their movement. We can't exist as a community without the work that was done by Black activists. And then on top of that, in a very real way, there were so many people in our community who were Black and brown and indigenous and who really led the charge and really were a part of leading this movement and getting it off the ground. And we need to recognize their work. And then we need to continue to recognize that so many people in our community are in those racial minority communities. And if we are really about helping and standing together and advocating for LGBTQ plus rights, we have to include those people. We have to listen to their voices. We have to be willing to center their stories, or we are colonizing queer America. We need to decolonize queer America. We need to let these people have their voices heard, and we need to recognize when it's time to follow. So, getting off my soapbox, I want to talk about briefly, in a lot of our advertisements or promotions for tonight, we talked about solidarity. The name of the event tonight is called Unite. This was drawn from the labor movement, which actually became a huge ally both for the queer community and for the Black community. The working class different unions that existed. The idea of solidarity is to not break ranks, to stand with people after you've agreed to work together for a common goal. And also, the word unite, thinking about workers of the world. Now, I don't want you all to feel pressured to go out and read the Communist Manifesto. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is other people have helped us get where we are, and it's important to recognize that, and it's important to stand with them. We can't pay people back for what they did, but the right thing to do is to advocate for people who are Black, people who are Indigenous, people who are Latinx. It's the right thing to do. So that's what we're doing tonight. So we're going to start this off by doing something that's going to be difficult. And I want to invite you all to recognize that it's difficult and to sit with the fact that it's not comfortable. And then we'll talk about it after. So I'm gonna get rid of our branding, and I'm gonna get rid of this for a moment. And this is something that I saw on other platforms, and so I can't claim that I came up with this, but I think that this is an important exercise. I want to thank you for participating in that with us. I thought about tonight reading the list of names. If you've been to some of these Black-led gatherings, this is a tradition, and I think it's really important to say their names. I decided not to do this tonight, but there is one name that I really do want to bring up, which is Tony McDade. He's one of us. He was one of ours. We have to stop this. I want to put up an organization that we would love you to support, whether it's with a donation or sharing information. It's called Campaign Zero. And they're promoting policies that will, their goal is 0 deaths through police violence. And I think that we all need to be on board with that. Everyone, please consider supporting Campaign Zero. All right. Oh my goodness. For those who are just joining, and then also for people who are not watching with us live, we're going to be asking for donations. Please don't feel ashamed if you don't have financial means to support those organizations right now. You can also support them by learning about them, by talking about them, sharing the information with your friends, and also by educating yourself. We're doing the work of allyship, and that's work that you can do no matter what your means are. That's work that you can do with us. So we're going to transition now. Excuse me. I'm going to bring on our local DJ. He's a music producer. He's a community member. We just love him so much, everyone. Oh, wait, let me bring back my banner. All right, everyone, please welcome Toda. Toda, you're muted. You're still muted.
Is that better? Okay.
Maybe I had muted you. Welcome, Toda. Thanks for being here. So before we dive in, I just wanted to ask anything on your mind tonight that you wanted to share with people?
On the current subject, I don't have a lot to say, firsthand, but I just want to point out how important it is that we, like you said, support each other, because Black people and queer people and transgender people, we all face a lot of similar problems, and only we can truly understand some, like, what's the word? I'm so nervous right now. Oh my God, discrimination. Discrimination. And it freaking sucks. So, I mean, whatever it is you can do to help out, just do it. And I'm sure, anybody who is part of that will appreciate it. And that's what I was going to say.
We're encouraging people through this event to join the movement, and I want to say there are different facets of the movement, and we need to let the people who are affected by those lead. But I also believe that we need to all to put our work in together. That's the only way that we really get anywhere. If we just say, well, that's for Black people, that's for them to figure out, that's for Latinx people to figure out, that's for Indigenous people to figure out, we don't get anywhere. But if we join together for progress and justice, then we are powerful. So that's what we're talking about solidarity tonight for. And if I'm not mistaken, you've prepared for us some musical stylings to inspire people. to adopt solidarity and make it a part of your life, if you're ready, let's do it.
Yeah, I've got a synth right here with me. I'm gonna do a little sound check. Those, can you hear that? Can you hear the memories?
It's echoing a little.
How about now? Is that better?
So it's not feeding into the fancy mic.
Okay. Let me take this out. Is that any better? Not really.
Well, maybe it's just lagging a little bit.
Okay, I'll try it. And
okay,
this is Imagine by the Beatles, and it's gonna be like a artistic performance. Okay. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. There's nowhere to do. Nothing to care, no life for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine all the sessions. I wonder if you had no need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of men. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. And the world will live as one.
Thank you, Choda. As Basil said in the comments, what a perfect choice. And that was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
I just want to, before we kind of bring on our next person, I want to ask you, why do you support Black Lives Matter?
Well, it means a lot personally to me because of what I was saying, like how much I resonate with like the negative aspect, you know, like the discrimination and like living in fear. And for me, the understanding is not just like because I'm queer, you know, I'm obviously brown and being Mexican like comes with its own like little, you know, own portion of stigma and you know racism. But I personally do feel like I've never felt too scared or you know to a level, especially because I'm pretty fairly skinned, you know, but you know, just out of what I know and how bad what I know is, I just think of all that I don't know, you know, and like all the bad that is there, you know, all um the real discrimination and real lack of decency towards like George freaking, you know, Floyd. Like I'm not unfamiliar to like to living in a place because I come from Mexico and it's a place where like there's a lot of violence and police violence, you know, and the numbers, and there's like the more you look into it, the more numbers you see of like real cases of people that are affected, you know, like people that have affected by blue lives and people that have been affected by white lives, and then you see, and then you compare it to, you know, I compare it um, to how fairly and you know, and I personally do experience a lot of it, you know, because not just because I mean I can only speak from my experience, but I always, you know, think of like the norms of society in regards to beauty, you know, and how far away I am from the ideal image of the man that rules the world, which is the white straight rich male, you know, and how all the propaganda is just geared towards reaching that sort of ideal image, and also all the negative things it implies because speaking of skin tone or whatever, like there's places where it really matters, you know, how you look. There's places where they're real where like you are literally, the respect that you get from people is literally equivalent to how people perceive you, you know. So that's why like I support them out of brotherhood and, you know, out of love and of course empathy um and humanity, really, because divisions, what are divisions like and why are divisions, you know, like it's somebody's decision to once have the idea of segregation and people deciding it was okay, I guess.
We need to come to an understanding of a human family.
Mm-hmm. How we all are really one. The older I get.
Any other causes or voices that you want to bring people's attention to tonight?
I am always definitely in support of the transgender movement because my favorite people, so authentic, are the people that are the most authentic and most themselves, and our trans family definitely always, need some attention and some love. Actually, we've been recently very in constant communication with Ian Jackson Phoenix, the CEO of Gender Bands. So if anybody wants to look into, support or education in this matter, it would be a great idea to visit the Gender Bands website. Oh, and Utah Trans Pride, August 15th. I might be there. I applied, so let me know. Let me know, organizers.
It ain't me. It's well.
I know. It's Ian.
I can see Jackson backstage. Jackson, can you hear me? Okay, so I'm gonna bring out Jackson. Everyone, Tota will be back. He's got another number for us a little bit later on. Thank you so much, Tota, for sharing your talents and your heart with us.
Yeah, thanks for the platform. It was great.
And let's bring out Jackson Phoenix. Hi, welcome, Jackson. You look wonderful tonight. Look at you.
Thank you. It's amazing what you can do with poster paint.
We wouldn't have known if you didn't tell us. So before we kind of dive into a little bit more educational stuff, anything on your mind tonight that you want to tell people about?
That's a toughie. I have a lot of things on my mind, a lot of emotions going through me right now, as I'm sure a lot of other people. I want to say pay attention to your friends who are people of color, of what they're saying and how they're feeling. Don't just brush them off because you don't understand it or you just think it doesn't make sense to you. Especially if you are a white person, like they're the ones living this and we should be listening to their voices above anybody else's. I know I'm trying to do a lot of listening and speaking when appropriate, so giving them the platform and giving them the space, and trying to learn as much as I can from my friends who are people of color. So listen, I guess would be what I'd say. It's listen, give them the space, and then speak when it is appropriate, and don't speak when it is not appropriate.
And learn when those times are.
Yes. And that's a learning curve. So don't be upset if you mess up, because we're human. We all mess up. But if somebody tells you this is not the right time, acknowledge it, apologize, be quiet, and then remember that for next time.
Or vice versa. We're doing some education tonight. Any leaders from the movement that you want us to know about?
Yes. So there's this person from way back in the 20s up till actually kind of recently. Storm was, I can't pronounce her last name, so I'm not going to butcher it. There we go.
Storm DeLavery.
DeLavery?
Yeah.
Okay. I always mess up everybody's names. She was a biracial butch lesbian who was one of the people who really kicked off Stonewall back in the day. She was really an important part of that movement. She had leadership roles with the Stonewall stuff afterwards and with other organizations in the area. She did a whole lot of things. She even got nicknamed the Guardian of Lesbians, which I like. That is a pretty sick nickname right there. She was always organizing things. She was always doing fundraisers, and she was especially into helping women who were victims of domestic violence. And she coincidentally was also a drag king. And was, I think, the only or one of the only drag kings back in the 50s or 60s, way back before that was really a thing. So she was really kicking it long before the advocacy stuff was really going. So I think that was really awesome of her to put herself out there like that, and all the work that she did for the community.
I have such a crush on Storm DeLavery. Thanks for sharing about her. I just think what a cool person, and she gets left out of a lot of conversations. So everybody read up on her because she's really an amazing person. Okay, and then Jackson also would we've kind of divided up some different educational topics. So talk to us about community care.
So something that I didn't realize until I was reading up for this evening was that the idea of self-care wasn't really a thing until kind of recently. I mean, everybody talks about it now, so it feels like it's a brand new thing. But yeah, it's actually newer than I thought it was. Back in the day of like Malcolm X, people didn't really do self-care. And Malcolm X and the other leaders and advocates back then realized that if you're too worried about yourself, your mental self, your physical self, then you're not able to be out there advocating and fighting for your community and doing all those things. So they started trying to work on stuff like that. And then we had community centers and health centers and stuff like that being built because, healthcare system sucks. They're not going to do anything. So like, let's go and make something that does. So a lot of the civil rights leaders back in the day were like taking it into their own hands. Like, we're going to make sure that our people are taken care of and that they know how to take care of themselves. Especially back when it was women's liberation was just getting going and things like that. So yeah, that was something really interesting that I learned about. And there are groups nowadays that are kind of in the same line of like trying to take care of their people so that people can then take care of themselves and then take care of the community. And I think that's really great that we look at self-care no longer as like, oh, that's a hippie thing, that's a new agey thing. Like, everybody now is like, I know I have to take care of myself before I can take care of others. And by taking the time out, especially right now with all of the protests and everything happening, it's really important that we take the time to refresh ourselves so that we can continue to fight for our own rights and fight for the rights of our brothers and sisters and everybody in between.
I love this phrase that a lot of people in the Black Lives Matter, the leaders use, called keeping your foot on the gas, meaning it is okay to be in a different lane. It might be that you're focusing more on yourself, but you're still pushing the movement forward in those actions. So I really appreciate. So Jackson, thank you so much. I'm going to bring on another person, and we're going to just keep this education going. But everyone, please pay respects, and thank you, Jackson, so much for presenting these to us. And thank you for representing the transgender community, the non-binary community. You're amazing. We love you. Also, one more time, I really love this makeup that you've done tonight. Look at you. Come on, representation. Yes.
Look at the eyebrows. Look at that.
I love that. Look at you. Oh, thank you very much, Jackson. Okay, up next, you all can nod at me from backstage. Diana, are you ready to come on? All right, so we're going to bring off Jackson and bring on Miss Diana Lone. Hi, welcome, Diana. Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you. Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm doing so great. How are you doing?
I'm I can't complain. My life is blessed. So to start off with, I just want to ask you, Diana, why do you support Black Lives Matter?
I think it makes more sense to me to ask, why wouldn't you support Black Lives Matter? Because especially as queer people, I think it is our job to include all people, especially people who've ever felt marginalized, anybody who's been discriminated against, because we live that every day, and Black people live that every day, and people of color live that every day. So it makes sense. It wouldn't make sense to not support the Black Lives Matter movement. And to continue that thought, I think in general, as a human being, I don't understand how you wouldn't support the Black Lives Matter movement, because, like, I don't remember who said this a moment ago, but we're all human beings. We're all one huge family on this planet in the scary nether regions of space, and it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so you have for us some information about an important, influential leader in the civil rights movement. Do you want to share that with us?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I actually have a little bit of a story about this person. I want to talk about Nina Simone. She was an American singer. She was a songwriter. She was a musician. And she was a civil rights activist. I discovered her when I went to Canada to see Sasha Velour perform her show, and she sang the song "Wild as the Wind." And I was like, "Oh, this is so beautiful! I'm going to listen to it over and over again." And it was Nina Simone, and it was just so full of emotion and so full of themes that I related to as a gay person. And that's when I started going into her music and learned a lot about her. Like, she has this song called, excuse me, Mississippi Goddamn, and which she considers her first civil rights song because it's about 4 young girls who were killed on September 15th, 1963, at a bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. And it was such a powerful and influential song that it was actually boycotted in a lot of southern states. But it was also later selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Recording Registry for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant, which I think is important. And in general, Nina Simone, her art is about living as a Black person and living as a Black person in America. So I think it is important to go back, listen to her music, and experience it for yourself. I'm really glad I did, and I hope a lot of you guys do too. Go listen to Wild as the Wind.
Wild with the Wind, Mississippi Goddamn. I'll also look up Strange Fruit. This is one where we talk about sitting with discomfort. Strange Fruit is about lynching. So it's going to be a difficult one, but it's super important. And the song it's a masterpiece. It's so full of feeling. It's so full of power. I think these songs are why people talk about Nina crying power. So look them up, learn it. All right, we're going to bring Diana back later. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to switch over to another drag presence. Let's bring the first attendant to Miss Provo Pride, Miss Lizzie McQueen, to the stage. Hi, Lizzie. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Look at this representation. I love it.
Why not be the rainbow?
Be the rainbow. Yes, this is wonderful. It's beautiful. So, Lizzie, before we get started, any thoughts that you want to share with people tonight?
I guess my thoughts are, I'm not a very vocal person about my thoughts and feelings, but I do know and understand the privilege that I have and the privilege that I had growing up, and how because of that, I probably have been blind to a lot of issues growing up that I never really thought to consider. So for tonight, and I really want to make it clear that about my stance on everything, Black Lives Matter, and that is a pure fact. This thing that we're going through right now, it's not just a moment that's going to pass over by within the next couple months or so. This is a movement. This is something that is part of progression, and that we all need to do our best to be on the side that will help bring all of us together and help us understand that we are all humans. We all bleed the same. We need to support our Black brothers and sisters. They are important to us, they're important to our history, and they are important for our future.
Thank you, Lizzie. So as we've been going through some educational materials, you've got a couple things to share with us. Do you want to go for it?
Yeah. One person I want to bring up who, when I was younger in high school, I learned about Nelson Mandela. He kind of stood for a really high progression for when he was elected down in his country of South Africa. He really pushed forward into progressing against racism and protesting against religion. Like, he really wanted to make sure that people in his country were all treated equal without discrimination. And I think that's something that's really important and something that we should really take a lesson from. Like, why we need to have somebody who is in charge, or somebody who we, the people, believe will help us become better than what we are at right now.
And since you are decked out in this wonderful array of colors, talk to us about what the pride flag means to you. What did, the meaning of the flag, the meaning of the colors?
Yeah, so the flag to me, when I first saw it, it's like, it really meant a symbol of hope to me. Be like, there are people out there who are like me, who understand my life and how I've been and how I grew up and what I wanted to become. So going into a little bit of the history of the pride flag, it was first used back in 1978, and it was used as the first symbol for the LGBTQ community. And throughout the years, it has had different kind of changes to it. When it first started off, it had the main several colors. It had pink at the top, red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, and purple. Now, the turquoise and pink were removed later on because of commercial reasons, but the pink stood for sex and the turquoise blue stood for magic. Now, the colors that have been currently going on for a while now, they are red, which stands for life, the importance of life. Orange for healing, because we all need to have our own sense of healing. Yellow stands for sunlight, because we all need to come out into the light, no more hiding in the shadows. Green stands for nature, our connection to all the world around us. Blue stands for peace and harmony, and purple stands for the spirit. Now, the colors have changed, and we've added a couple of new things. So as of 2017, they added the colors black and brown for people of color, and also for people who represent who passed away during the struggle of the AIDS pandemic. And as of 2019, they also added the transgender colors of white, pink, and blue to the current colors that we have for our pride flag now, and they like to call that the progressive flag, which I think has a really good ring to it.
I love it. There's been debates back and forth with as you mentioned in 2017, that flag with the black and brown stripe was introduced in Philadelphia, and the thing is, it wasn't introduced just for kicks and giggles. It was because the scene in Philadelphia was experiencing overt discrimination against people who were people of color, people who were Black. And so the leaders in the community said, we are going to take steps to say we are going out of our way to fix this problem. And so that kind of won me over. And then again, with the progress flag, including the colors from the trans pride flag, we're going out of our way to make sure these people are included. And in that sense, I don't mind sharing the rainbow. I really just don't mind. Plus, it makes me happy seeing all the representation. I think the progress flag is just wonderful. It's amazing. All right. Any parting thoughts, Lizzie, before we move on? Anything else you want to share with people tonight?
Just, I love you all. You all are near and dear to me, and I want to fight for everybody's rights and everybody's rights to feel equal, because we're all important. But right now we need to focus on the people who are struggling the most and give your focus to them, because their struggle ultimately is all of our struggles if we treat each other with respect and dignity.
Very good. Thank you, Lizzie, so much. Okay, so we're gonna move on. As we're moving on tonight, we're gonna kind of introduce a little bit more levity into what we're doing. And so I don't want people to think we're not taking these things seriously. But we're gonna have some fun tonight too. Laughter is important. Smiling is important for our resilience, and for our connection. Our connection to each other is one of the most important tools we have to fight injustice. So we're gonna have some fun together tonight. Thank you so much, Lizzie, for presenting educational materials for us. And then as we're moving on, I want to encourage people. We've just barely scratched the surface. What we're trying to encourage everyone to do is learn about leaders in the civil rights movement. Go beyond what you were taught in middle school and high school, even in college. That I am astounded at the things that I'm learning that did not come up in my college history courses. I'm astounded. Keep learning, keep challenging what you thought you knew, and keep gaining wisdom and inspiration from the leaders who have allowed us to be a community at all, both in the civil rights movement and people of color and people from the Black community who were leaders in our movement. So moving on, we're gonna have some fun. So if any of you have been regular attendees at Glamature Hour, you may have met Ophelia Tenderflesh of the House of Flesh, and also super active with the Haven of Hues. So Ophelia actually is from Utah County, and we're super glad to be able to include Ophelia in our scene. So everyone, we're going to have this is a pre-recorded performance from Ophelia Tenderflesh. I hope you enjoy it. So let's go ahead and do this. Sorry, gotta do my little screen share. Oh, I wasn't ready. I'm gonna change gears. I'll get Ophelia ready. In the meantime, instead, sorry, I gotta change gears. We're gonna have some artistic education brought to you by the brilliant mind of our wonderful and artistic Diana Lone. And I want to give this a preface. If you are going to protests, and I fully support this, be safe, be smart, and let Black people lead those protests. Don't try to take the reins and take over. If you are going to protests, I was so glad to see this. The leaders of the protests are handing out masks. They're going around with hand sanitizer. They're telling you to stay 6 feet apart. And the reason for this is, one, it's right and smart thing to do. And two, coronavirus has disproportionately affected communities, Black communities, people of color, people in low-income communities. And so if you aren't trying to beat this virus, you're not with the movement, okay? So everyone, a message about education and about doing your part from Diana Lone. Oh, my goodness. Diana, you goof. So we have this pre-recorded content from the wonderful Diana Lone that she has prepared for you, and we'll bring that to you now. I apologize. I pushed the wrong button. One moment. Y'all, I'm sorry. Third time's the charm. I really am gonna get this one day. All right, let's try this one more time. Get the sound turned on for you. I have to click a box I didn't click. The internet, the joys of the internet. While we're trying to figure all that out, this is my devil cat. He's the devil. Okay, one more time, Miss Diana Lone. Hopefully I've got this right this time, and I won't have to apologize anymore. Y'all, I thought I had it figured, and I was wrong. We're gonna try this one more time. One more time. Thank you for having patience. I really appreciate it. I really thought I had this good to go, but here we go. Okay, final attempt. Thank you, everyone. A public health message from Diana Lone. Okay. Ridiculous. One more time. Y'all, no one ever trusts me with a computer ever again. Oh my. Okay. I hope it was worth all the trouble I put you all through. I swear I practiced this and had it all working, but it was worth it. I'm giving you your opinion. Let's welcome back to the stage Diana Lone. Diana, oh my. What is your public health message for everyone right now?
Before I can continue, I have to drink this entire White Claw after that streaming situation. Cheers, bitch. What was the question? I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say that this virus is a little bit scary sometimes. Like when it initially happened, when it got to the US, when Utah started responding, I was nervous. I was a little bit scared. And coming from a mother who is 100% a germaphobe, coming from a mother who wipes off the doorknobs 2 times a day, coming from a mother who makes it a requirement to get 2 pumps of hand sanitizer every time you go to a public establishment and then get back in the car. I was like, ooh, coronavirus, what the fuck? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I swear?
Oh, we haven't restricted language on any of our streams so far. So at this point.
Okay. Well, I wanted to take a moment to sort of poke fun at it because it is a virus and we are taking it seriously, which is good. But I'm allowing myself not to be scared of it because look at how stupid she looked. Girl, she wasn't even wearing an eyelash. She couldn't even be bothered to put on an eyelash. Corona's not scary. Corona's not scary. Just listen to what the officials are saying. Listen to the CDC. Wear a mask when you go out in public. Wash your filthy hands. Bridget.
Sorry.
And, try to stay away from people. And it is hard. Not for me, because I have been playing so much Zelda Breath of the Wild that it's not even funny. But it is hard for other people from what I've heard. So I'm proud of all of the people who are taking an effort to stay away from other people, especially me. Please stay away from me. Not because of the coronavirus, but just because I don't want to be near anybody. Just filthy, disgusting. So
thank you, Diana. And I think you're so wise to both remind people how to take care of the problem and also to not freak out about it. Where it's a difficult time, but this is not the most difficult thing we're ever going to go through. And I also just want to reiterate that we've said this over and over. Let's help each other through this. I don't know if we've really talked about that tonight, but we can get through it together. And then just to parrot myself from earlier, if you're going out to these different actions that are happening, whether you're participating in a direct action or a protest or different things like that, please protect disadvantaged communities by practicing social distancing, by wearing your mask, by using hand sanitizer. You need to understand that these people are affected disproportionately. And so if you're really there for them, to support them, do the right thing. Thank you, Diana. You're wonderful. You're amazing. All right. So I'm going to try to, yes, White Claw. I'm going to try to now do Ophelia, have Ophelia Tenderflesh. Hopefully this goes a little bit smoother than our previous performance. Ophelia has sent in a performance for us. And I'm going to try to do a screen share and share that with you. Give me 1 second to get this set up. Hopefully it goes a little bit smoother this time. Y'all, I'm a mess with this technology. Okay, so that's ready. All right. 1 moment.
always peeping, fucking creeping. Got it on the down low. It's how you think you always squeak it. What if I had told your mother her son was a cruel motherfucker? It's not just me, it's everybody who thinks that you're fucking ugly when you come and hurt us just so you can get your money for so far. The leader who's being possessed by blues. I've tried to make you listen, but you won't. It's your way, right? Killing kids all day and night. Prescription pills and online fights. Shooting at the angels while claiming you're a good guy. All you want is cash and hype. Fuck our dreams, and that's not right. Always the principle. 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 Complicated, overrated, you're fixated, underrated by the separation in this place that you've created. Fuck all of your rules and guidelines. You shouldn't even be on the sidelines. Can't you see that we're all hurting? If you're not teaching, we're not learning. Excuse me, how much are you earning? I've tried to make you listen, but you won't. It's your way, right? Killing kids all day and night. Prescription pills and online fights. Shooting at the angels while claiming you're the good guy. All you want is cash and hype. Fuck our dreams, and that's not right. Always the principle. 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 You don't know the pain that you are causing. Yeah, your actions hurt, so do your words. The more you try to fuck us over, we will be there yelling at your front door. I've tried to make you listen, but you won't. It's your way, right?
Ophelia Tender Flesh, yes. Expect when we're allowed to do in-person shows at the bar again, expect to see Ophelia there. So as we're kind of moving on into a lighter portion of what we're doing tonight, I just want to take a moment to recognize, we talked about leaders in the civil rights movement and also leaders in the queer movement who are Black or Latinx or other people of color. I want to recognize the Black and brown people who got the scene in Utah County going. I want to recognize Yamna Newman, Farrell Ann Wild, Ravenna, Aminique Jones, Anti-Gender, Bad Lucy. A lot of help coming down from Idaho with Cristal, Blue Water Sapphire, Onyx, and I want to also throw in DJ Bad Kitty, who is a trans woman who was our DJ for a long time. These are the people who have made drag possible in Utah County. They're not the only ones, but they have done an immeasurable amount of work. And I think it's really important to honor the fact that we wouldn't have what we have here without the contributions of Black and brown folks who did the work, who represented, who were fearless, and were leaders in our community. So everyone, please remember to honor that. All right, so what we're gonna move into now is we're gonna, if you've been watching our streams recently, we're gonna have a little bit of a kiki session. We're gonna take a chance to be together, to hang out with each other. So I'm gonna bring back our friends, and then, oh, here's Miss Lizzie. Yes, welcome back, everyone. Welcome. I'll kick this off. I want to say, I want to say thank you all for your help tonight. I love you so much. You all look amazing. Look at this queer fam right here. You look amazing, and I am so full of love for all of you. What I want to also do is, while we're hanging out, feel free. We're going to open up a Q&A session. We're going to be responding to people's questions, and just anything. Just ask us any old thing.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I just want to say, like, right off the bat, all of y'all look fantastic.
We look pretty good.
You're not wrong.
I
We
know.
look pretty good.
Everybody loves Maru-chan.
You know, even your hair looks a little bit like
Yeah.
noodles.
No, I'm wearing
Like,
a shirt. Yeah.
you look like food. Bridget
I
is
did my
like
hair in
glamorous.
3 minutes.
Lizzie is all rainbow, and Diana is just like the eyes. Like I keep focusing on the eyes.
I just like
Diana-
put on a little bit of chapstick. I don't even know what you're talking about.
You wish.
Hey,
Diana, you remind me of Gaga from Judas with your
Yes,
look today.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
thanks. I know we all came in like trash.
Uh-uh.
You like showed us up. Like I don't think any of us can really do what you're doing right now. I just want to applaud you. This is amazing.
Wait, who are you applauding?
Toda.
Oh, I'm
Oh.
like, yeah, I was like, who are you
Yeah.
applying to? Thank you. Thank you. I can teach you anytime you want, Diana.
Oh my
I'll
God,
give you some
thank you.
private lessons.
I need to learn how to do
Wait, was that Diana that said that, or was that Lizzie?
Diana.
Oh, okay. Well, you too, Lizzie.
Oh, are you watching us on the YouTube?
Who is?
I don't
Who
know.
is?
I
People are
never
watching?
mind. Yeah, we've had people live with us the whole time. All right. Okay. Here we have a question
This is
from
live?
Yeah, we're totally live.
That
Thoughts
is a
on
great
Chromatica?
question, Jessica.
I'll go first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My
Everybody's got
absolute
something to
favorite track is Sign from Above. For one thing, I really am a huge Elton John stan. And I just also really love the message of the song. It goes from this place of like isolation and despair into like finding your own meaning and finding your own healing experiences. And then it's got like a rock and dance floor beat. Like you can really like.
Lady Gaga's like really keeping the four on the floor alive right now, you know?
All right,
Because
y'all
we have an invasion of 808s, 808 hip hop beats on commercial radio. This is what I do. I make commercial music, so it's like my study. It's my area of expertise.
What do you all think?
I have something to say.
Yeah, say it.
The best part of all of Chromatica, which is first of all of it. The second best part is the transition from Chromatica 2 into 911.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And then the robotic voice. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is an Ask Us Anything question as much as it is an offer that I don't want to think about or explain too much while I'm live.
Trey, yes, come over. Trey, you know where I live. Come drop him off.
Wear a mask.
No, don't even come inside. Just drop him off.
Wear protection.
I do love all of the orchestral, like you were talking about, like the interludes. It just like changes. I don't know. It just like pulls you out of this dance floor space into this like story, legend.
Yeah.
And the
I really
tale.
I love like the lore that Lady Gaga associates with it, and like the characters that she creates, and it feels like the Power Rangers combined with like any RPG game.
I got a lot of like Dark Crystal from
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Just put them right up there in the chat. We'd be
Sailor
happy
Moon.
to talk to anybody. I'm happy to keep talking about Chromatica, though. My other favorite track is Alice.
Yeah, I love
I-
Alice.
I feel like such a bad queer. I haven't actually listened to any of it.
Ah!
I know.
All
I
this
killed
talking
Lizzie.
about.
She's gone.
need to listen to Chromatica right now.
I'm
Oh my.
sorry.
That was your sign.
I'm
That was your
sorry.
sign from above.
I don't think anyone should feel obligated to be a Lady Gaga fan.
No, really, no.
I mean, I
However-
like
In the
her
same way-
stuff, but I
Disagree.
In the same way that in the rest of the world, nobody should feel obligated to be a
Politely
Beyonce
disagree.
fan.
Exactly. Ooh.
I think we can all have different tastes, and also like I love learning about music that I would have never thought of because my friends are into it. You know, is Chromatica
I
better
love-
with or without the manifesto? I am not sure what the
Wait.
manifesto is, so Basil, you're
The
ahead of me on this one.
manifesto was everything. The manifesto is great. It's
Is this a track I haven't heard?
no, it's
Is
like
that-
on Spotify. They have like a series of 3 videos throughout that where Lady Gaga explains what Chromatica is to her, and that's where she explains
Ah.
a lot of like.
Okay, so
her-
I think I have seen that where she's like little stories that explain the tracks.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
Spotify's
mind.
got all the goodies.
I don't mind hearing her like explanation, her behind the scenes stuff, but I also don't mind ignoring that when I'm listening to it on my own time.
hmm
Like I've been playing Sign from Above a lot when I go for my like morning exercise time, and I don't want to listen to her thoughts.
That's the difference between you and me, buddy.
Oh my god.
A question: how are things coming with Provo Pride, and what is needed for this event? I'm assuming you mean the event of Provo Pride. So I will be perfectly honest. I am not sure whether we're going to have a festival this year, because it might be the wrong thing to do, and I don't have a way to know right now whether that's the case. So I'm looking at options. I'm having conversations with the city. I've sent out a survey. If you all look at Provo Pride's page or at my profile, you can find a survey and just give me your thoughts, both on like priorities, like what should we prioritize at the festival, and different options, and then also just like some community needs and some understanding who we are and where we live. So that would be really helpful if people could go fill out the survey, because it will help me make a better decision to know where everyone else is with this. I will say, I will not make a definitive announcement that we are having a festival until mid-July at the earliest, because there's just no way to know. So it's okay to assume that we might not have it. Please don't make plans that we are having it until we're able to go through. Does that make sense? And that's like such a tough position for us to be in. But if the pandemic is worsening and deepening through August and September, it's not right to have a festival. What's right to do is to take the time and energy that would have went into a festival and take that to supporting our community.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna wait and watch, and if it's safe, then yeah, we're gonna have the best Provo Pride ever. If it's not safe, if we need to be really focusing on public health and community support, then that's what we'll do. So fill out the survey. That would be super helpful. I know Julie already did it. Thank you. But all right, we have another question. Oh yeah, you are right, Nathan. I think that maybe this year has been a really great learning experience because we've been saying for years, Pride's not a party, it's not a celebration, it's about advocacy, it's about activism, and I think this year we really are learning that lesson. So let's do the ding ding Pride,
Yeah.
Jean would like to know, what are we all doing to keep ourselves sane through quarantine, and how has quarantine affected your life? I'll let you all go for this one. I'm going to find that link for you.
I think we can all tell how it's affecting Diana over there.
Diana, I really liked your video. It was so funny.
Oh my
I
god.
was dying the entire time.
Did you?
I was Diana
couldn't-
too.
Diana, I couldn't tell if it was
I hate
stop
you.
motion. I couldn't tell if it was stop motion or if the internet just sucks because it's a lot of uploading and downloading.
I didn't mean it to be so clippy.
Like,
I can
Oh,
send
okay.
a link to the video so people can watch it in
yeah,
HD.
send me the link.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
Not your fault.
I did my best.
I have the same answer for both of these two questions. What am I doing to keep myself sane, and how has quarantine affected my life? I'm keeping myself sane by drinking alcohol. It has affected my life because I'm drinking too much alcohol.
Your drinking has affected me in the following ways.
I'm done.
Yeah. I like watching anime, and anybody seen Space Force? That was pretty fun.
Not yet. It's
I have
on my
not.
to watch list.
It feels like an extension of like The Office.
Space.
It
Oh,
looks
The
pretty
office just
dumb.
transitions
It's more
into
anime.
space.
Space Force. Space Force.
yeah. It's the dude that, what's his name?
Steve Carell.
Michael Scott. Oh,
Steve Steve Carell. Yeah, it's basically the same character that he plays in The Office, but a little bit more mature. But it's really cool. He's like a really important. He's basically like the president of the NASA. They call it Space Force, and he's in charge of a lot of stuff, and it's pretty fun.
in all seriousness, find things to do around the house. Like our whole apartment is so clean. There's never been this clean. I've rearranged my room. I've cleaned the apartment again. Take a shower. Sit down in the shower for fun.
Sit down in the shower
I'm
for
not
fun.
joking.
For fun.
And then find a cool hobby. I've picked up sewing. I've started painting. Well, I've been painting
We
and
can
sewing.
tell.
but I just didn't do it. What is that supposed to mean, Lizzie?
We can tell you started painting.
Oh, my paint? Oh.
Y'all.
I don't know what's going on right now.
She was saying I couldn't paint before.
Just a little sisterly love.
Just love.
I'm having trouble getting the link to post into the comment of the live feed. So here's what I'll say. Go to the Provo Pride page and I will repost the link after we finish our stream tonight. So the link to the survey. Everybody go to Provo Pride and find the link. Okay, sorry, go ahead with like being shady and mean towards each other.
No.
Or not, it's fine. So it's 10:30. I think that maybe we'll move towards wrapping up. So I want to once again thank everyone for your help tonight. And I want to encourage us. This is not, if you've joined us tonight, or for us who have participated in the stream, this is not a button that says I'm now an ally. This is not a sticker or anything that says I'm now educated. I'm now have done my work for racial justice. It's not that by any means. What we're doing is trying to encourage ourselves and each other. Keep doing the work of allyship. It's hard. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable. And that's okay. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it be hard. And then we can get to a place where, I'll bring that on a second. We can get to a place where we are actively anti-racist. We can get to a place where we are actively doing the right thing for people in the Black community, for people in other communities of color. And that is hard work that we need to do. So thanks everyone. We've gotten some donations to Jean's Venmo account. I want to thank you all so much for that. And if you're not able to donate, Once again, please do not take that as a badge of shame. There are other ways, including educating yourself, exercising self-care, and spreading information about causes to support, leaders to follow. There are multiple ways to support the movement. So I want to thank everyone who's donated. I want to thank everyone who's participating in those other ways. And then let's grab these last comments real quick. Ophelia, thank you so much for participating tonight. And yes, thank you so much for that reminder.
Beautiful.
Isn't she fun?
That was like watching
cannot
like a
wait to see her.
professional music video. It was awesome.
So excited.
Right.
I
forgive
really
me.
love the makeup.
Can she just like stomp all over my face?
Super
Just
cute. Well, Stomp Queen
do
of
it.
SLC. I apologize. I can't remember for sure Ophelia's pronouns. I believe she, her in drag, they, them out of drag, but I could be wrong about that. So please try to respect that and forgive me for messing it up if I did. From Miss Rocky, we love you and miss you.
Yes, Rocky.
Oh, they in drag and out of drag. Okay. I apologize, everyone, they, them for Ophelia. And we have from
Hi!
Kelsey.
Kelsey. I made all of my friends come at gunpoint. They are behind this screen.
Well,
They
good.
expect them to come.
They, them, and both. Ophelia, they, them, in drag and out of drag. Okay. So we've got two more offerings for y'all tonight. Thank you once again to the group for your help and support, and also just for this wonderful representation we've got going on the screen. I love us and I love you. So we've got another number from Toda. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
One more musical styling, teaching us about the revolution, about being a part of the movement for justice in general, the movement for racial justice. Racial justice, Lord, y'all. I'm tired. It's been a long week. Anyway, let's bring Toda to the stage, and we'll go from there.
Dos. No. Has anybody ever seen Imogen Poe? I'm gonna do another Beatles. Another Beatles. Hold on. I find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in this world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. But though I may hearted,
there is still a chance that they will see. There'll be an answer, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming here.
Thank you, Toda, for supporting tonight and for lending us your voice. Both numbers were really beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I am going to wrap it up. I really kind of struggled a little bit tonight. Everything felt wrong, but I kind of landed on a number that I'm happy with. So everyone, sorry, I've got this cat situation going on. I swear that cat is trying to destroy me. So a little bit of Pat Benatar for you.
This bloody road remains a mystery. This sudden darkness fills the air. What are we waiting for? Oh, yeah, it's burning help us. What are we waiting for? We can't afford to be the same. Stand up and face the end. Situation will be better. Shattered dream you cannot justify. We're gonna scream to rest satisfied. What are we running from? We've got the right to be angry. What are we running from? When there's no right way. We can't afford to our life situation. We will be in trouble. With the power of conviction, no sacrifice. To our life situation. We'll be in Stand up and